Imagine standing in a courtroom, listening to a prosecutor detail the brutal, heartbreaking murder of a teenage girl. The family is in tears. The accused serial killer is sitting just feet away. And then, the room goes ice cold as the prosecutor stands up and says something that should be impossible. He announces that the victim isn't dead. She's been watching the entire trial, from a hiding spot just a few miles away. It's August 1998 in Rockhampton, Australia. Meet 14-year-old Natasha Ryan. To her friends, she was a normal, energetic teenager. She had a close family, a favorite school uniform, and the typical worries of a girl her age. But Natasha was struggling. She'd been experimenting with drugs, and her parents were divorced. She felt like she was suffocating in her own life. So, she did what many teenagers dream of, she decided to just disappear. But this wasn't going to be a weekend trip. One morning, Natasha's mother drops her off at school. She watches her daughter walk through the gates, her backpack over her shoulder. It's the last time anyone in her family sees her for 5 long, agonizing years. The search goes from days to months, and then to years. The police eventually stop searching for a runaway and start looking for a body. And in a town terrorized by a local serial killer, they find the perfect person to blame. Leonard Fraser was already a monster. When he was caught, he didn't just confess to the crimes he committed. He started bragging about others. He told police he'd met Natasha, lured her into his car, and murdered her. He even drew maps showing where he'd buried her. Her family, broken and desperate for closure, finally gave up hope. They held a memorial service for Natasha on her 17th birthday. They grieved. They moved on. In April 2003, the murder trial of Leonard Fraser is in full swing. The prosecution is ready to put him away for life for the death of Natasha Ryan. But then, an anonymous letter lands in the hands of the police. It doesn't talk about graves or maps. It gives an address. A house in Rockhampton. Police storm the property, expecting a breakthrough in a cold case. Instead, they open a bedroom cupboard. And there she is. Natasha Ryan was alive. For nearly 5 years, she hadn't been in a grave, she had been living in her boyfriend's house, just 4 kilometers from her mother. She told investigators that whenever visitors came over, she would dive into that dark, cramped cupboard and wait in total silence until the coast was clear. She had bleached skin from living in the dark. She had effectively erased herself from existence, watching the world mourn her death while she was hiding in a closet. The fallout was catastrophic. Leonard Fraser, a serial killer who had somehow confessed to a murder he didn't commit, was acquitted of Natasha's death, though he remained in prison for his other crimes. Her boyfriend, Scott Black, was sentenced to prison for perjury, and Natasha herself was fined for causing a false police investigation. The girl who came back from the dead eventually moved on to build a family of her own. But in 2024, the story took one final, quiet turn when Natasha was found dead at age 40. A death that police deemed non-suspicious. Natasha Ryan spent 5 years hiding in a cupboard to escape her life, only for the world to learn that she was hiding in plain sight the entire time. But it leaves you wondering, how many other people are walking among us, living ghost lives, while the world thinks they're long gone.